And today, we are focusing on something that is, you know, it's a true defiance of the modern automotive world.
It really is. We are talking about an automotive elder statesman,
Yeah.
a rolling museum exhibit that just flat out refuses to be retired.
I think it's more than just an old model. It's really an anomaly of modern manufacturing.
Right.
We're diving deep into the 2026 Dodge Durango.
Yes, we are.
I mean, this is a vehicle that has achieved a kind of immortality in a market where platform life cycles are frankly ruthless. They usually peak at 5, maybe 7 years.
Exactly. So our mission today is to really understand the physics of this survival. How is the Durango, which has been cruising roads in its current third-generation form since 2011, how is it not only surviving, but, actively thriving?
Well, the answer seems to be a mix of things. Smart corporate finance, for one. A real dedication to raw, customizable V8 performance. And what we're really going to get into, a stunning late hug age engine decision that I think shocked a lot of people in the industry.
It really did.
This is a textbook study in automotive product management. We're going to unpack the economics of keeping a platform alive for, nearly a decade and a half now?
And the engineering philosophy, right? The idea of keeping this muscle car DNA in a 3-row SUV, that requires some highly calculated risk-taking.
It really does.
So the hook and the central paradox we want you, the listener, to just keep in your mind through all this is the sheer longevity of the Durango.
Since 2011.
Since 2011. Its corporate parent has gone through these seismic shifts. It has outlasted 3 CEOs and one of Dodge's entire parent companies.
It's incredible.
So the key question is, how does an SUV maintain its relevance, its performance, its market interest for so long without that multi-billion-dollar platform overhaul that, frankly, everyone says it desperately needs?
It's the ultimate ship of theses scenario, but for a car, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
a perfect analogy.
How many parts, how many engines and aesthetic packages can you bolt onto a 2011 platform before it's just not the same car anymore?
And what's the answer?
Well, for the Durango, it seems the answer is they can swap out the exterior panels, they can change the entire powertrain hierarchy, but that fundamental, well-amortized architecture, it stays the same.
And that consistency is its financial superpower.
It is, absolutely.
Okay, let's truly contextualize this longevity, because in terms of high-volume vehicles, this kind of timeline it's almost unheard of.
It really is.
The third generation launched in 2011. I mean, just think back to that time for a second. The Arab Spring was unfolding. Adele's 21 was dominating the charts.
People were lining up for the iPad too.
The iPad too, and we weren't even worried about concepts like Stellantis or widespread electrification mandates yet.
And that corporate context is so vital here. When you look at the sources, they all highlight the fact that this core platform, it has survived longer than the actual existence of Dodge's current parent company. Stellantis, yeah. As a corporate entity, it was only formed in 2021. It was the merger of Fiat Chrysler and PSA Group. The Durango architecture was already a 10-year-old vehicle when its current holding company was even finalized.
That puts the leadership turnover into even sharper relief, doesn't it?
It does.
The Durango has sailed through the reigns of 4 different CEOs across its corporate parent structure, from the late Fiat Chrysler days right through the merger and all the leadership changes at Stellantis.
It's like the quiet, profitable sentinel in the corner office. It's seemingly immune to all the boardroom politics and strategic pivots happening around it.
And this speaks directly to the financial viability we touched on, right? Why keep an old platform?
Because the investment is paid for. The tooling, the stamping dies, the basic factory setup, it's all completely paid for. It has been fully amortized for over a decade.
Okay, let's pull back the curtain a bit here for the listener. What does paid tooling actually mean in, dollars and cents?
It's the difference between billions and millions. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Developing a brand new, a clean sheet platform in this midsize SUV segment, one that's fully compliant with all the latest global safety standards, designed for potential electrification, that can easily cost between $1 and, say, $2.5 billion.
A huge amount of money.
A massive amount. And when you launch a model, you typically need 5 to 7 years just to recoup that investment. For the Durango, that cost was recouped a long, long time ago.
So any subsequent refresh or modification, like a new fascia, new interior trim, shuffling the engines around, that stuff is relatively cheap, correct?
Oh, precisely. Those aesthetic and minor engineering tricks, you're talking low tens of millions. maybe 50 to 100 million at the very high end.
So the profit margin on every single unit they sell has to be astronomical compared to a new vehicle that's still carrying all that debt from its development.
Exactly. The Durango is, quite simply, a cash cow that requires minimal new investment.
But survival isn't just about cash flow. I mean, it has to have some competitive merit. And the sources all acknowledge this kind of dual identity the Durango has. It has some real strengths that keep it relevant. It's remained fun to drive and somewhat competitive in terms of family hauling.
And that fun-to-drive part is the key. It's the secret sauce.
It has to be.
While its competitors, the Hondas, the Toyotas, the Kias, they focus so heavily on maximizing interior volume, fuel economy, refinement, the Durango holds onto that unique rear-wheel drive-based muscle car DNA.
It has a different feel.
A completely different feel. It's planted, it's aggressive, in a way that no front-wheel drive crossover can ever replicate. And this attracts a very specific buyer.
The parent who needs the 3 rows.
But absolutely refuses to give up that driving engagement.
Right. Now, to truly appreciate how unique this is, we should probably look at the competitive landscape. If the Durango has been in its 3rd generation since 2011, what were its rivals doing in that same time?
That's where the anomaly really shines. I mean, take the Ford Explorer. Since 2011, the Explorer has gone through at least 2 major clean sheet redesigns. It jumped from one platform to a completely different one for 2020.
And the Highlander.
The Toyota Highlander has also had multiple generations in that same time frame. A typical segment leader would be on its 3rd or even 4th generation since this Durango launched.
So the Durango is like the stubborn kid in class who just keeps using the same notebook year after year.
Exactly. But you can't escape the limitations of a 2011 architecture forever. The sources are very, very clear on the downside of this extended life cycle.
And this is the critical trade-off.
It is. The source material notes, and I'm quoting here, that the vehicle desperately needs an update. Specifically, the available safety and convenience technologies. They lag way behind the segment's best offerings.
So that means things like cutting-edge, semi-autonomous driving features.
Right. Sophisticated modern sensor integration, and frankly, just the interior digital real estate that all falls short compared to its rivals.
So this is where the conversation gets real, isn't it? For that family buyer who's prioritizing safety and convenience, is the performance appeal worth the trade-off of, potentially less advanced safety systems?
And that's the calculation Dodge is asking the consumer to make. For the loyal, performance-minded buyer, the answer is yes.
I'm betting on that.
They're betting that the emotional connection to Hemi power and the sheer capability of the vehicle outweighs the need for a massive digital dashboard or the latest generation of adaptive cruise control. They are targeting the niche where performance and utility meet. They're not trying to win the mass market battle on features and fuel economy.
So if we synthesize the why factor here, the strategy of perpetual life support, it's all driven by high margins and niche targeting. They're not trying to sell 2 million of these a year.
Exactly. The core strategy isn't modernization, it's maximal utilization. They are taking this well-loved, well-established chassis, which happens to be robust enough to handle massive V8 power, and they're just continuously applying these superficial high-impact changes.
So it's not a platform redesign, it's design distraction.
That's a great way to put it. They're using aesthetic updates, customization packages, and engine adjustments to inject what their own internal materials call freshness. And that avoids the multi-billion-dollar capital expenditure of a full clean sheet redesign.
It's a genius move for maximizing profitability, but it requires them to constantly pull off these marketing stunts and strategic engine shifts to keep the whole narrative interesting.
Which brings us perfectly to the most dramatic part of the 2026 announcement.
The engine drama, and that surprising, crucial, late-stage reversal.
If Section 1 was all about corporate finance, Section 2 is about market reality versus performance aspiration. This was a real quarter filler.
The original plan, as everyone was reporting, was very aggressive. It was very performance-focused. Tell us about that initial messaging for the 2026 model year.
Well, the initial reporting suggested Dodge was ready to shed its volume conscience. The plan was to drop the entry-level V6 engine entirely. So the message would have been unequivocal. If you want a Durango, it has to be a Hemi V8. It was a polarizing, brand-capping kind of statement, designed to further cement Dodge's image as the muscle brand, no matter what kind of vehicle it is.
And what would have been the immediate ramification of a V8-only stance?
A huge jump in the base price, a significant jump.
Yep.
As we'll see later, the entry V8 starts at $45,000. By eliminating the V6, they would have instantly priced the Durango out of the entire entry-level three-row segment.
So they would have lost every buyer who was cross-shopping a base-level Pilot or an Explorer.
Every single one.
Yeah.
Those usually start in the high 30,000s. The V6 model is the volume leader. It's the accessible gateway to the brand.
So the brand aspiration, the desire to be V8 only, it ran directly into the cold, hard wall of market viability.
It did. And that brings us to that crucial November 2025 update cited in our source material. This is where Dodge executed a stunning last-minute turnaround. They changed their mind. They confirmed the return of the Pentastar V-6.
Why the reversal? I mean, was it immediate dealer feedback? Did the sales projections just show a catastrophic drop?
It was almost certainly data-driven. The 3.6-liter Pentastar V6 is a workhorse engine. It's proven, it's reliable, and critically, it offers efficiency and a lower price point that you just can't ignore if you want the vehicle to remain a volume player.
So dropping it would have sacrificed too much essential market share.
Way too much. The V6 is returning specifically for the GT trim level.
And they've made sure it's configured to hit all the necessary market segments for that volume play. I mean, the details confirm the Pentastar V6 will be available in both rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive for the GT.
And it's just a nod to geographical necessity. RWD is perfectly fine, often preferred in warmer southern climates for cost savings and that performance feel.
But up in the snow belt.
Or the mountain states, yeah.
Yeah.
AWD is a non-negotiable requirement for an SUV. By offering both, they make sure the GT trim covers the vast majority of the U.S. and Canadian markets.
So let's look at the financial anchors here. The MSRPs for these V6 trims really highlight why this return was so non-negotiable.
They do. The Durango GT V6 RWD, it starts at $38,995. The AWD version is $40,995.
And that $39,000 starting point, that's the crucial psychological entry barrier, isn't it?
It is. It puts the Durango back in direct price competition with the base trims of its key rivals. If the base price had been $44,490, the price of the entry V8, they would have been fighting vehicles in a completely different, more premium category.
The V6 saves the Durango's entry segment.
It does. It wasn't about enthusiasm. It was purely about financial and competitive necessity. A correction driven by economics, not emotion.
A necessary dose of reality.
Yeah, you can talk about muscle car heritage all you want, but volume pays the bills, and the V6 brings in the volume.
But despite this crucial return of the V6, the Durango still retains a massive legacy point, something that gives it huge emotional weight for the enthusiast buyer.
Absolutely. The source material emphasizes this, and it's a point that cannot be overstated as the rest of the brand pivots toward electrification. The Durango remains the last Dodge product available with a V8 as an option.
The final frontier of the Hemi engine within the Dodge brand.
That's exactly right. As the Charger and Challenger morph into these new forms, embracing electric or, non-V8 turbocharged powertrains, the Durango is carrying the torch.
It reinforces that last chance emotional appeal.
For a huge portion of the Dodge buyer base, the V8 engine, the sound, the throttle response, the legacy, that is the core of the brand experience. So if you want a brand new Hemi-powered factory-built Dodge, you have to buy a Durango.
Which makes the Durango not just an SUV, but a piece of rolling performance history.
It does. And this commitment to V8 power, even in 2026, is what justifies the vehicle's longevity for its core audience.
So with the V6 successfully stabilizing the low end of the market, Dodge can now focus its aggression on the V8 side. And this is where the new structure for 2026 gets really brilliant, starting with a 5.7-liter Hemi moving into the GT trim.
Yeah, the repositioning of the 5.7L Hemi into the GT trim is a real strategic power play. Traditionally, the V8 commanded a big premium. It was usually packaged with luxury features in trims like the Citadel or the RT.
Right.
By making it available in the GT, they're doing two things at once. They're democratizing the Hemi, and they're creating a massive marketing claim.
And that claim is truly massive. Dodge is specifically saying the Hemi-powered GT AWD will be the most affordable AWD V8 vehicle in the industry, period. They are not whispering that, they are shouting it.
And they're dominating a highly specific niche. This claim is genius because it targets buyers who might be cross-shopping against, say, heavy-duty pickup trucks, which are expensive, or premium V8 SUVs from Germany, which start at way higher price points.
So they found the one specific metric where the Durango can claim undisputed value leadership.
They're selling performance affordability. That's the game.
Okay, let's validate that affordability claim with the pricing analysis we have here. The GT Hemi 5.7 AWD MSRP is $44,490.
So if we compare this to the V6 options that just came back, we can see the exact premium you pay for the Hemi experience. If you upgrade from the GT V6 RWD, the base model, At 38,995 fives to the Hemi GT AWD, you're adding $5,495.
Which is a reasonable jump for an engine upgrade and the addition of all-wheel drive.
Right. But the more critical comparison is against the AWD V6 model, going from the GT V6 AWD at $40,995 to the Hemi GT AWD at $44,490. That's only an addition of $3,495.
And that is the number that makes the affordability claim sing.
It is for the cost of a slightly upgraded wheel blockage or maybe a luxury convenience group on a competitive SUV. You are jumping from a V6 to the iconic 5.7-liter Hemi V8.
That difference is negligible for a performance enthusiast.
The Dodge has created a compelling value proposition that essentially makes the V8 the default, logical choice for anyone who is already planning on getting AWD anyway.
It's an aggressive move, but it had a necessary ripple effect up the performance ladder, right?
It had to.
Because the 5.7-liter Hemi went down to the GT, the traditional mid-tier performance trim, the RT, it needed something significantly more potent to maintain its hierarchy and justify its price premium.
That's the law of the performance jungle. You have to differentiate your trims. So to achieve that, Dodge pulled out the iconic 6.4-liter Hemi V8, known affectionately as the 392.
And that had to become the standard power plant for the RT.
It did.
And the 392 is a massive leap in capability over the 5.7L. What are the performance specs we're looking at for the RT?
Well, the 6.4-liter Hemi V8 delivers 475 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque. That's a serious bump.
Oh, yeah.
You're talking about a performance SUV capable of 0-60 times in the low to mid 4-second range. That positions the RT not just as a quick family vehicle, but as a genuine challenger to other performance-focused crossovers, all while using that proven robust architecture.
It's impressive to see the 392 return to the standard RT production lineup. The source material mentions it was last seen in that 2024 Alchemy Special Edition.
The Alchemy was a limited, highly stylized edition. It played on the performance heritage, but it was just a temporary placeholder.
So bringing the 6.4L back to the mainline RT lineup, that solidifies the Durango's role as the keeper of Dodge's performance flame.
Absolutely. And at an MSRP of $51,990, the RT is now a potent mid-tier performance bargain. It offers legitimate muscle car handling dynamics in a 3-row format. It's an SUV for drivers who know what that 392 badge really means.
And then we hit the ceiling of automotive absurdity and excess, which is where Dodge truly excels.
Yes.
The apex predator, the Durango SRT Hellcat.
The Hellcat. This is where practicality is just thrown out the window and pure, unadulterated engineering spectacle takes over. The supercharged 6.2-liter Hemi V8, it continues its reign at the top.
Let's just state the numbers for context, because they are simply unbelievable for a vehicle you can use for the school run.
We're talking 710 horsepower and 645 pound-feet of torque.
Unbelievable.
I mean, to put this in perspective for you, that is significantly more power than the flagship versions of many premium sports sedans and even some legitimate supercars.
In a 3-row SUV.
And Dodge has managed to maintain the engineering integrity to put that level of force through a platform designed almost 15 years ago. It's a testament to the original engineering overbuilding.
It's absurd. It's glorious. It's totally unnecessary.
And it clearly sells. The market for hyper-performance utility, the ultimate sleeper, is surprisingly robust.
It is.
It's a phenomenal status symbol. It says you prioritize uncompromising performance above all else, even fuel economy or cutting-edge autonomous features. The SRT Hellcat MSRP, it starts at $81,990.
Which is a high price point.
It is, but relative to other 700-plus horsepower vehicles on the market, it still holds a remarkable value proposition, especially when you consider the seating capacity and the AWD capability. The power ladder for the 2026 Durango is now just meticulously calibrated. It covers everyone.
From volume buyers to affordable V8 seekers, serious street performance enthusiasts.
And the segment dedicated to pure, unadulterated excess. They have it all covered.
So we've established the engine strategy. Now we have to return to that core paradox. How do they keep this aging platform relevant?
And the answer is not re-engineering the chassis. It's through meticulous, high-margin aesthetic and performance customization packages. This is how Dodge truly injects freshness, as they call it.
That phrase, injecting freshness, is a perfect description of their strategy, isn't it?
It is. It's about maximizing visual impact and the perceived value of the vehicle without touching the underlying architecture. These packages, they turn a necessary model update into an opportunity for deep personalization. Let's start with the key aesthetic driver for the RT, the Blacktop Redline package.
This package takes the RT and pushes it squarely into that aggressive street performance look. And it's more than just a paint job.
Oh, far more. The exterior details are designed to create a unified, menacing aesthetic. You get blacked-out 20-inch wheels, which instantly change the profile. They add black badging, and crucially, they swap out the standard bright exhaust tips for black SRT exhaust tips. This attention to detail means every little chrome element is eliminated, reinforcing that dark performance theme.
And they add spoilers.
They do. They integrate SRT front and rear spoilers, which gives the RT a much more aggressive, planted visual stance.
And inside, the goal seems to be to elevate the driver and passenger experience, maybe to distract from the older dashboard design. The quality of the materials and the seating, they have to make up for the lack of the newest digital tech.
Precisely. Interior quality and performance feel are paramount here. The Blacktop Redline RT immediately upgrades you to proper SRT front seats. These aren't just comfortable, they're heavily bolstered for high G cornering.
Which acknowledges the RT's 475 horsepower capability.
Exactly. And for family utility, they've standardized second-row captain's chairs, wrapped in a performance blend of leather and microsuede.
That microsuede and leather combo is classic performance touch, but they reinforce that look with accent stitching.
Yes, highly visible red accent stitching, the classic performance color, is everywhere. On the seats, extending to the door trim, and across the center console. This is essential, as the material touch points are what the consumer interacts with daily. Upgrading these materials significantly increases the perceived luxury and sportiness of the cabin.
Okay, and this brings us to that fascinating and very specific detail the sources mentioned. The one designed specifically to anchor the car in a modern aesthetic, the interior trim pieces.
This is a perfect example of design distraction. The trim pieces feature a laser-etched geometric crypto sweep graphic.
Crypto sweep.
Yeah. So if you imagine the older plastic or faux wood trim pieces that might typically come on an aging platform, this graphic just obliterates that sense of datedness. The crypto sweep graphic is composed of these sharp, angular, repeating polygonal shapes. It mimics the visual aesthetic of digital rendering or high-tech circuit boards.
So, if the underlying platform is decidedly analog, a 2011 chassis, they're using this high-tech, digitally inspired trim to create a visual contrast that feels modern and current. It's a clever juxtaposition.
It absolutely is. It's a very cost-effective way to inject that visual freshness without redesigning the entire console layout. The Blacktop Redline package adds $3,495 to the RT Plus and RT Premium trims.
And considering the expensive seat and material upgrades, plus the exterior styling changes, that's a pretty attractive value proposition for the performance buyer who wants their SUV to look aggressive right off the lot.
For sure.
Now, for the buyer who truly intends to use that RT power for its namesake performance towing, there is another significant enhancement that can be stacked on top of the RT packages.
Right, the TowNGo enhancement. This is the practical performance upgrade that ensures the hardware matches the capability. It comes at an additional cost of $5,990, but it delivers functional necessity.
Oh, what does it add?
The key additions here are wider 20-inch wheels, including an available forged option for maximum strength and a set of black Brembo brake calipers.
We mentioned the 475 horsepower of the 392 engine. Why are those Brembo brakes so essential when you factor in towing?
It's all about heat management and stopping distance. When you're pulling a heavy load of boat, a trailer, a track car, the total weight of the vehicle system just skyrockets. Standard brakes will overheat rapidly.
And that leads to brake fade.
Exactly, and significantly compromise stopping power. The high-performance Brembo calipers, with their enhanced cooling capacity and larger pads, they ensure that the RT can manage the immense kinetic energy of a heavy, fast-moving SUV and trailer. It maintains safety and performance integrity under load.
So it ties the performance aesthetic directly into genuine utility.
It does. Now, for those who want the dark look without the full performance aesthetic of the Redline, there is the standard blacktop package on the RT.
A sort of diet version.
You could say that. It offers a segmented option for those whose priority is styling simplicity over aggressive interior upgrades. The standard blacktop is less comprehensive. It focuses on the basics: black wheels, black badging, and black roof rails.
And it comes in a 7-seat configuration.
Crucially, yes, it uses the traditional rear bench, whereas the more performance-focused Redline package mandates the second-row captain's chairs. This standard package is priced much lower at $1,695.
So it's a very low-cost entry point for that popular, aggressive exterior styling.
It is. And this dark, performance-focused look isn't exclusive to the RT and Hellcat. They also brought the Blacktop Redline package down to the V6 GT trim, correct?
Yes. That is a smart move to capture the maximum volume of buyers who want the look.
On the GT, the volume trim, the Blacktop Redline, is primarily aesthetic since it lacks the massive Hemi power. It focuses on exterior cues like red stripes on the front fender and liftgate, a functional performance hood, SRT spoilers.
And it still upgrades the interior to the leather and suede SRT performance front seats?
It does. It allows the V6 buyer to achieve, 90% the top-tier aesthetic appeal.
Finally, we arrive at the absolute peak of customization, reserved exclusively for the 710 horsepower King.
The jailbreak option.
The Jailbreak option for the SRT Hellcat. This package is where the commitment to personalization becomes almost fanatical.
The jailbreak option is Dodge catering directly to their most loyal and demanding niche. This is not about production efficiency, it's about consumer desire. For an additional $995, you unlock this menu of deep customization that allows Hellcat buyers to truly personalize their quarter-mile utility vehicle. You're moving far beyond typical option codes.
The variety here is astounding, and it's really essential for you, the listener, to grasp the sheer scope of this personalization strategy.
It turns the vehicle ordering process into a quasi-bespoke experience. Let's look at the numbers cited in the source material. You are offered 6 choices for wheel designs.
6 wheel choices.
You get 6 separate choices for exterior and badge colors. If you want stripes, you have 5 different dual stripe colors to select from. Even the small details are covered. Brake caliper colors offer 4 options.
And the interior options are just as expansive. This isn't just about exterior flash.
Not at all. The interior provides 5 primary seat options, 3 different seating configurations, so bench or captain's chairs, and you can even choose from 4 separate seatbelt color choices.
4 seatbelt color choices.
Think about that, ranging from subdued black to vibrant red or even an electrifying blue. This level of granular control is usually reserved for luxury or exotic automakers.
That's why they call it Jailbreak. It's breaking the vehicle out of the typical, highly restrictive factory ordering constraints. You could genuinely order a Hellcat Jailbreak and never see another one optioned exactly the same way.
It taps into the deep tradition of American muscle car culture, which is fundamentally rooted in personal expression and modification. It increases the final MSRP to $82,985, but that extra $995 is buying the consumer exclusivity and self-expression.
So these packages, the Blacktop Redline, the TowNGo, and the Jailbreak, they're not just option boxes. They are the financial and aesthetic keys to the Durango's extended life.
They are. They keep the vehicle desirable, profitable, and visually fresh without requiring the platform modernization that the competition must undertake.
They are betting heavily that performance aesthetic and personalization win out over the latest dashboard tech.
They are betting on emotion, on history, and on raw capability. And for their specific target buyer, the joy of hearing that Hemi roar, combined with the pride of driving a vehicle customized down to the seatbelt color, absolutely outweighs the need for the latest connectivity features or driver aids.
This has been a fascinating journey into the economics of endurance. Our deep dive into the 2026 Dodge Durango has uncovered a strategic masterpiece, really rooted in heritage and calculated risk.
Yeah.
We saw the crucial reversal, bringing the volume-selling V6 engine back into the GT trim to maintain those competitive entry points. That was market necessity overriding brand aspiration.
And we also dissected the aggressive V8 strategy, positioning the 5.7L Hemi GT AWD as the undisputed most affordable vehicle of its kind, and the necessity of moving the formidable 6.4-liter 392 into the RT to maintain a clear internal power hierarchy and performance profile.
And critically, we saw how the commitment to personalization, the highly detailed aesthetic packages like the Blacktop Redline with its unique crypto sweep graphic and the ultimate customization of the Hellcat Jailbreak is the primary tool used to keep this aging yet incredibly potent, platform competitive, and relevant well into the mid-2020s.
This strategy of extending a paid-for platform, supported by these distinctive, powerful engines and these superficial, high-margin aesthetic kits, it says everything about Dodge's current priorities.
What's that?
They are prioritizing brand identity, performance legacy, and profitable, low-cost refresh cycles over rapid, multi-billion-dollar platform modernization and the global rush towards electrification, at least in this specific beloved segment for now.
They are sticking to what works. Powerful, loud, and uniquely customizable vehicles. It's a powerful counter-narrative in an increasingly homogeneous automotive world.
And this brings us to our final provocative thought for you, the listener, to mull over as you see the market shift. If these continuous aesthetic and engine updates allow a vehicle like the Durango to remain highly profitable and incredibly fun to drive without adopting the bleeding-edge safety and convenience technologies of its rivals,
Mm-hmm.
how long can pure, visceral performance and customization successfully win out over the inevitable demand for platform modernization? And what does that suggest about the emotional value of the V8 engine in the history of the American automobile?
Something to ponder as you watch the next generation of performance utility vehicles arrive. We thank you for joining us for this deep dive. We'll catch you on the next one.